Hello there, my name's Tim Walter. I'm a house healer and an alternative life coach. Welcome to the channel. This is where we work with the subtle energies of intuition to help us all move towards improved well-being. We do that by working with meditation, mindfulness and dowsing. Dowsing is a great way to give a structured framework to your intuition. Today's video is an edited section from one of our regular live Q&As. But what we're going to be kind of running with a theme today is about mindfulness, the aspect of mindfulness, of being mindful and of kind of living from that perspective of trying to be as observant as possible and detached as possible as the observer in our own life. And how does that sit with dowsing? How does that sit with the sort of spiritual aspect, house healing? What we sort of discuss is some of the facets of focused intent, the way that we can use those subtle aspects of being human to actually make changes in our lives. Okay, and one of the big key things to all of that is dowsing. Dowsing is a very practical and grounded way to access some of these facets of our reality. That description of what we talk about on the channel sounds rather deep, and this is an expression, this deep, you know, what you're doing there is a bit deep, has come up a couple of times over this last week, and I'm not sure that it really is as deep but as it sounds, but there's no way I can kind of figure at the moment of making it sound less significant, because the fact is that, you know, once we start to really activate the spiritual aspect of self and really get in there and just relax into it, then, you know, actually it does become incredibly significant, because we are talking about our direct connection to our creator, you know, and all that that implies. But really what we're trying to do, what I'm trying to do with all of this stuff, is to make it as accessible as possible and try to avoid some of the heavy and deep aspects, all those suggestions that we have to live in a certain way in order to find that spiritual self, in order to access that spirituality, the healing that is available from the subtle realms. Because I don't think that we have to be special, greatly change who we are to do this, to make use of this energy and to work with it. And all we're really doing is shifting our perspective on what occurs to us in life. And we're also trying to influence in a positive way the things that occur to us. But that really is through adjusting our perspective on what is occurring around us, our seeming external reality, which of course, as regulars will know, we consider to be our internal reality, created from there. We are who we are. We come to the point of a spiritual awakening from whatever position we come at it from, right? We are who we are when this doorway is presented to us in our lives. And usually that doorway appears because actually we're going through so much crap at the time that actually this doorway, there is no choice but to look at this doorway and to sometimes beseech God, the universe, whatever we consider maybe greater than ourselves, whatever we consider sometimes is creating all of this, for help. And that's quite a common way of coming to the position of reassessing one's life. And so therefore quite often we come to it from a point of extreme adversity, and effectively, you know, as they say, things can only get better from that point on. You're either coming at it from that point, the doorway appears to you to take the choice to start to explore the spiritual aspect of self from that point of adversity. Or you say, okay, I really want to explore this, things aren't going too badly. And then sometimes your life then, as you take that step to maybe enter into a healing modality, learn Reiki or something like that, or house healing. And what happens is that actually your world then gets turned upside down momentarily for maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks or something like that, because you're basically readjusting and changing your perspective on your life. Again, regulars will know that primarily what we focus on this channel is mindfulness, meditation, dowsing. They're all linked and they all revolve and they all allow us to access that spiritual part of self, but they are integrally linked together. The more detached and the more we can adopt the role of active observer, then the greater our efficiency will be in connecting to those energies that we want to connect to those subtle energies. All the time that we are not mindful, when we are caught up in thoughts of what could happen in the future, what happened in the past, we are not connecting to those subtle energies, to the actual power that we have as an individual point of awareness of the universe. Taking that moment, that breath, that inward looking opportunity, when you apply that to things like, if you're dowsing and you are hitting a series of what are clearly incorrect answers, then dropping back into that space, working with the breath, use the breath, allow the breath to come in. Always, everything, they say, don't they? Everything hangs off the breath. Your whole body is focused on the breath and the rhythm of your breathing. So use it to focus and to still and to be calm. The key thing is that the more you focus, the more often you focus and allow those pauses in your daily routine at any time, then the easier it is for you to focus on it at a time that you need to focus on it for well-being. Now, mindfulness is fantastic for averting and changing habitual responses. We all go through life to a certain extent operating from habit. And the reason we do that is because it's a reduced use of energy. We don't have to constantly think about things that we're doing. We do things on autopilot, but we also think things on autopilot. Anxiety attacks. Let's look at anxiety attacks. Anxiety attacks are like a lot of emotional situations where you can feel something coming on. You can feel an anxiety attack coming on, and you're circling around what would be the central sort of dropping point as you plummet into this anxiety frame of mind and physical responses. Typically with anxiety attacks, you're hyperventilating. But what I'm getting at is that as these early feelings of anxiety attack are coming on, the more mindful you are, then the earlier you can get those warning signs. And as soon as you get those warning signs, you can start to take action. You can start to regulate your breathing, to put your mind somewhere else, well, basically on the present, on the breathing, but also to assess where in your body do you feel the stress, the blockage, or the eruption of maybe something coming through that is just hitting you hard. Now you're going to say, well, how do I do that? Well, really, it's up to you. With a lot of this stuff, I can give you the pointers. I can give you the try going down this avenue, but it's up to you to feel your way into that, to find your way into that space yourselves, and to think about everything that we say and discuss on the channel for yourselves, and to evaluate it and to decide, is it for you, is it not for you? I don't want anybody to take on anything that I talk about just because I say so. You want to put it into practice and test it out and see, does it sit right with you? And if it does, great. If it doesn't, fine.